So the last article that I'm going to cover today is something I just wrote for the antimedia.org. Just came out yesterday, Friday, and this one's cool because it's not crazy, scary, bad news. It's actually something that's kind of interesting because it's related to art and comic books. If you like comics, that's cool too. But really the reason I wanted to write about this is because I have a younger brother who's into young adult novels and comics, and I see him reading and getting into the Hunger Games and stuff like this, and I really think that these ideas are going to be powerful and influential in the way that we're able to shape the future, these future resistance movements, and basically making sure that not all of the people who are growing up in the age of the internet are going to have their faces sucked into Snapchat and forget how to speak with more than just a couple of letters and not just be completely distracted and dumbed down. Because I think that's the perception that some people have, that the future is just lost because they look at like Miley Cyrus or MTV or just anything on TV really, I guess, and think that that is what all people are like. But there's a lot of amazing people, amazing young dudes doing, and women, lots of just young people in general doing awesome stuff. Off the top of my head, Andrew Demeter, if you don't know him, I think he's 15, 16 now, maybe 17. He's about to start school again, I know, and he does badass, really, really well produced videos. Also, Cassius Methel, he writes for the Anti-Media, and there's a couple other young dudes that I've met over the past few years who are doing good things. So it's not all lost. And this article covers this new comic book that I want to pick up. It's called The Young Terrorists, which just came out on the 19th, 3 days ago, and it's already sold out. It sold out in one day. Maybe because it's a small company and they couldn't really keep up with the demand, but it just shows you that there is a demand and that people want to read these ideas. So it's sold out until later in September, and then you can get some more then, which is what I'm going to do. But it follows the story of this chick named Sarah and then a dude named Caesar, which is, I don't know if that's his real name, but it's the name he takes on in the comic book. And I quote a couple of pieces of the comic, one panel from it. And basically they're discussing how the state has failed and they live in an area, it kind of sounds like an anarchist community. She says, "We made deals with the corrupt police and local drug lords. We carved out an 8-block radius. No cops patrol here. They don't respond to calls. The immediate perimeter is the drug dens. They hold the line. The next perimeter is no income housing, free rent, free food, free utilities." And she also tells him, "Drones fly overhead sometimes, so just keep your hood up when you're outside. You can be invisible here." And she basically goes on to tell him that, they're living in this part of town where everybody who lives there has chosen to go off the grid and is trying to fight the surveillance state and just remake themselves. And it's a really cool idea. And then I list a couple of other books and graphic novels in the article that you may not have heard of. One's called DMZ, another is called Little Brother, from a few years ago, which apparently was a New York Times bestseller for a children's book. And then the Voluntarist comic book, which is also badass. They have episodes or books like The Voluntarists versus the TSA, Voluntarists versus Statist Zombies, and they're working on a new one called Saving Snowden, The Voluntarists versus the NSA. So that's kind of cool. And it's just, for me, it's important to infect pop culture and art in general with a message that is going to be about powerful, conscious topics, not just the mundane, dumbed down bullshit that I think most people expect to see in popular culture. It's not all bad. It's not all coming to kill you, I promise.